Recording in progress.
That's right.
Hello.
Slurp.
You
Hello.
could have done that before.
Hello. How the devil are you?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm I'm good. What have you been up to today?
Today I've been mainly cleaning dogs out. Not nice. Feeding dogs. A bit better. And getting wet in the rain and tidying the workshop.
Sounds lovely.
Massive tidying the work. Well, it's a good tidy in the workshop. It's good, but I mean it's boring. It's just when I get to the workshop and I don't feel like doing anything because I'm exhausted. What I tend to do is tidy up.
I
Because
get that.
you tidy up without thinking. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to study. You just go at it and work. And it,
Yes, I understand.
yeah. So what do you want to talk about this week then?
Um, you didn't ask what I did today.
Oh, well, I know what you've done today.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you got up, you drank vodka. Go on then. What did you do today?
I went to the lab for 4.5 hours
I should think
straight.
so.
Yeah, I know.
What was it like? Was it good?
Oh, yeah, I was sterilizing seeds
Sterilizing
and
seeds.
mhm,
Yeah.
and um yeah, actually this isn't that interesting.
It is. It's biology. And it's done under the auspices of a very, very talented tutor, your
Yes.
lady. I can't remember her name now.
Well, yeah. Um yeah, just put them
Sterilizing
put
seeds. Why were you
I
sterilizing
put
seeds?
so when we plate them to
Mm,
grow, because we grow them on plates, we don't grow
mm,
them in soil because we're only like looking at them when they're tiny, so
yeah.
and we need to measure it. Um we grow them on like agar plates.
Yes, I do know agar plates.
So we put a tiny line of seeds um and then put them in the conditions we're testing.
Right,
And we put them upright so they grow upwards so they can be scanned and measured.
right. And that's what
So
you've been
yeah,
doing today.
but you need to sterilize them because otherwise bacteria and stuff will grow on the agar
All
plates.
right, I see what you mean now. I mean,
Um,
you don't sterilize the seed itself to stop it growing. You're just sterilizing its outside so that nothing else grows on it.
yes.
Yes, I'm with you. It did sound like a bit senseless to sterilize the seed before you tried to make it grow.
Yeah, it sterilizes in from other things.
I'm with you.
Okay, so shall we talk about youth?
We can talk about youth, yes. You're young and I'm
I'm
not.
young. You were young once.
Was I?
Not in my experience of you, but I'm sure you didn't appear one day when I was born.
Well, I was born in 52. So I was 10 in 62. I was 20 in 72. And
This the
in the north of England, in
which
York,
century?
shut it, 1972. Uh, in the north of England, the 60s happened in the 70s,
Mm-hmm.
right? So whilst you got to remember the Beatles broke up in 1969, right? The Beatles,
I didn't know that.
well, there you are. The Beatles' entire career happened before 1969 because that's when they broke up, right? So that was the same, was it the same year? Yeah, the moon landings.
And
Yeah.
the same year Mum was born.
Yes, it is 6669. Yeah,
Event.
right. So
Someone should write a song about that year being so eventful.
yeah. So yeah, so it was the 60s was late coming to Yorkshire and got there in about 1970.
Hmm.
It was
How
good.
old were you?
I was 20 in 1972.
So in 1973, you were 21.
Correct.
And in 2023, I'm 21.
Yeah.
Not for much longer,
No, it isn't, is it? No.
but the most part, I've been 21.
Right. So what do you want to talk about youth about?
I don't know. I don't know how it was in the 70s.
What was it like in the 70s?
Yeah,
Well, I'd started work at 15. By the time I
very different to my youth.
by the time I was 20, I'd started an electrical apprenticeship in Driffield, which was like 6 miles away because I was living
Hmm.
in Tough then. And my first interest was motorbikes, like anybody else's interest is, and that's stayed with me. But what was it like? It was hard work, but also it was great fun because the summers seemed to go on forever. The pubs
Hmm.
were always open, the nightclubs were always open, and you could go to pop festivals for next to nothing.
Yeah, that
You go.
I wish. I wish.
Of course, you could trust the drugs as well, which you can't
Mm,
nowadays. Uh, I went to quite a lot of festivals in the 70s. Blackbush to see Bob Dylan. Uh, I've seen Bob Dylan twice.
that's so cool.
And Nebworth to see Frank Zappa and the Tubes and the Boomtown Rats and Dave Edmunds. Oh, I can't remember. There was loads of people, and that was a one-day festival. Blackbush was a one-day festival. Joan Armour trading at Blackbush as well, and Eric Clapton at Blackbush and all sorts. Then I went to a couple of later on in the 70s. I went to Reading Rock Festival 3 or 4 times as well.
I am very envious that you
And
got to go to all the festivals that were better and cheaper.
they were
Like
much,
it's
yeah,
insane how much they are
they
now.
were so much cheaper. You pay, I think, as I remember it, the ticket for the 3 days at Reading was something like 20 quid, and that included camping. Yeah, I know.
I I bought tickets to a gig to see the front bottoms in December, and
Yeah.
it was 60 quid for a gig.
Have you been yet?
No, it's in
Oh,
December.
in December. So you're going to see him in December, right? Okay.
I'm very excited to
Where's
see
that?
them. Sheffield.
Sheffield.
Haven't planned how I'm gonna get there or
I would
what
take the
I'm
train if
doing.
I were you.
Yeah,
Yeah, is there one or two of you going?
me and Robin.
Yeah, well, you can get a train direct from York to Sheffield.
Yeah, I know.
So
But anyways, what
yeah,
do you think is different? Phones, the internet.
mobile phones. Yeah, but there's so there was seemed to be so many more gigs on. You could go and see so many more.
Yeah,
The pub culture was really, really at its height. And everybody went to pubs every night. You know, if you could afford to, you'd go every night. And that sort of that's sort of completely gone today. I don't
it
know
is.
what's happened.
I've been to I mean this is mostly clubs to be fair, but if it's not a Friday or Saturday, dead
Yeah, absolutely,
completely.
absolutely. You could go in Driffield virtually every night of the week, right? We
In
used to
Driffield as well.
we used to start on a Thursday night, which Thursday was market day, the cattle
Hmm.
market, which meant all the farmers were in town. The pubs were open all day. The nightclubs were open on Thursday night, so we used to do the nightclub as well as the pub Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. Right, and then on Sunday we used to just chill because we usually shipped so much alcohol by then that we needed to dry out.
How did
Uh,
you how did you go out 3 nights in a row
we
and
just
go? Bing.
You just go out, share la fun.
How much did you drink?
I didn't drink much at first,
Okay.
but I, after 2 or 3 years of doing it, I could quite easily go out and have 8 or 9 pints, right? And that's quite a lot for me. For me, I mean, I used to get drunk on 2 pints, but that soon wore off.
Me too.
That soon wore off when I was regularly going out drinking.
Yeah. Um,
Of course, by the end of the 70s, uh, I'd finished my apprenticeship. I'd worked for my dad for 7 years, 6, 7 years, which didn't work out. And I'd left and I was running my own business. I went self-employed when I was 19. I've been self-employed ever since. And the 70s was such a wonderful time. Such a wonderful time. So free and so easy. And it seems like this summer that we've just had reminded me of the 70s.
really?
Yeah,
Why?
because it was hot. It was hot, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it was dry, or drier than usual anyway. And it was like I can remember going to Bridlington in the 70s, and the weather was just stunning, and the place was packed. You couldn't move
Yeah.
in Bridlington. You go to Bridlington now in the summer, and there's tourists there, but it's nothing like it used to be. Mind you, they were
Yeah.
complaining Bridlington was going downhill in the 50s, so there you go.
I think that's always the case though. Like every generation is like, "Oh, this is getting worse. The kids don't know. The
Well,
kids don't know how good we had it." But then every generation says
we
that.
had 3 nightclubs in Driffield. That's a town of, which was then a town of 12,500 people. We had 3 nightclubs, God knows how many pubs.
Yeah.
The Driffield's main street was famous for the number of pubs it had. And it used to be, the town used to be throbbing on a weekend. There was people everywhere. All the pubs were full, right? You couldn't get into, I used to drink quite a lot in one of the main big pubs in Driffield. And
The Norseman.
no, not the Norseman.
Oh,
This was I used to go. We used to go to the Bell as well.
oh,
And
okay.
I can
I've
remember.
heard too many of your stories.
Well, yeah, I can remember going to the Bell. 9:30, you'd get somewhere near the bar. By 10 o'clock, you wouldn't get anywhere near the bar, and you'd have to stand for 5 or 10 minutes to get served. Your mum and I went in the Bell a couple of years ago at 10 o'clock. Was it 10 o'clock? 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, can't remember. Saturday night, and there was nobody
Hmm.
in. The barman switched the light on as we walked in. It was
That's
completely
sad.
empty. It's so sad, yeah, so sad. But kids don't seem interested nowadays.
In drinking?
No, they're interested in drinking, but they drink at home.
Yeah, it's cheaper.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess back then just drinks used to be
Here's
cheaper
a
and it
here's a
was affordable.
government. Put tax on supermarket alcohol and take tax off pub alcohol. Then the pubs will stand a chance of survival. But so many are closing.
I think they will survive. I usually go to a pub quiz on a Monday, which is today. I'm not going tonight, I don't think. But it's like it's packed when it's the pub quiz.
Mm,
Other days of the week, I don't know, but
yeah. That's why they came up with pub quizzes, trying to fill them up.
so fun though.
Time was you couldn't keep people out of pubs.
Hmm.
My granddad used to, whenever anybody asked him directions, he would sit down and tell them all the pubs on the way to somewhere, right? And he would go via, right, you start at this pub, right? And then you go, and it would go on. It would be a list of pubs. And he was a pubaholic. He loved pubs.
Pubaholic.
Yeah, he loved.
Maybe there's a word for that.
Yeah. Probably is, yeah. But he
and
loved he
an
loved going to
alcoholic.
pubs. He loved drinking in pubs. And he'd sit in the pub and play the piano and sing and you know, have a whale of a time. We lost him once. Uh, I can remember it was in the that would be in the 70s.
Hmm.
Uh, we rang his house, no answer. We rang the lady next door. She hadn't seen him for a few days. So my dad jumped in the car and went over, which would be like 40 odd miles to get from Bridlington to from Driffield to Pudsey, Langtoft to Pudsey. And he wasn't there. Nobody there. House all locked up. My dad let himself in with his key. No sign of anybody being there. So we thought, what do we do now? We'll start ringing round his friends. So we rang a couple of his friends, and he was at a pub called the Zetland. I can't remember where the Zetland was. I think it was Huddersfield or Halifax or something like that. But he knew the people there, and he was staying there, working behind the bar, washing up and playing the piano, right?
Hmm.
And he stayed there for another week, I think. But that's what you could do in those days.
Yeah,
You know, if you provided entertainment and you brought people into the pub, they didn't mind. It was a lot free
yeah.
drinking tea.
Drinking tea. What do you think about the concept of youth?
The concept of youth,
Yeah,
you have to unpack that a bit.
like the concept of oh, youth that ends at 22 and it's the best time of your life. It's only downhill from there.
Oh no, it's down. It's
Um,
all physically. It's all downhill from 16. So you're already past your best. Uh, uh,
that's great.
no, 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 no. I was disgustingly juvenile until I was in well into my 40s.
Yeah,
I didn't think,
that's what I was trying to prompt out of you.
yeah, well, I didn't.
Um,
I was still going to nightclubs in my 40s. Still single. Didn't meet your mum till I was, can't remember, 14, 48, 49. And I met her in the Norseman.
I think it was a bit before that,
Oh,
surely.
I can't remember. Catherine, how old was I when I met you? How old was I when I met you? 47.
Because I was born when you were 49.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Your mum was 30. Yeah, and I just walked into the Norseman, and there she was. She was celebrating getting a job at Driffield School.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, that's what she was doing out. She was out in the pub celebrating getting a job at teaching maths at Driffield School. So that's how we met, dear.
Wow. I didn't
I had my
actually.
long black coat on. You know my big long black wool coat?
Mhm.
I had that on. And I was
I
looking.
do know you offered to read her zodiac.
I was into Chinese horoscopes at the moment,
Hmm.
right? And as a keeping in touch technique, because I didn't want her to zoom off and disappear from my radar, I said I'll do you a Chinese horoscope, right? Which was my excuse to keep in touch with her, right? And so I did it.
Astronomical Riz.
Astronomical what?
Riz. It,
Yeah.
okay. You know what that means?
No,
Okay. Well, the
are you going to tell me?
I just say it said it. It's a phrase that the kids have been using. I even feel a little too old to be saying it, but it's
Really?
just like charisma, but specifically in
Oh,
a
as in
I
career.
think specifically in a flirting way.
Right, I see. Yes, it was. Yes, quite true. It was. Yeah, yeah. But no, I think the kids of today have got a bad deal.
Right?
I think
I agree.
they're made far too politically aware, far too young, right? In that they are indoctrinated at school and indoctrinated at college and
I
indoctrinated
think
at
I
university.
think
They don't
that
have the they don't have the time to explore loads of different things and come to
agreed. Oh,
their own beliefs and their own political persuasions. Right? I think that they're really they grow up too fast.
I think there's too much school.
Too much school in what way? You mean
Like
it goes on forever? School, school,
5 days a week
college, and then
for 6 hours.
yeah,
Too much pressure, man. And internet, this is going to be controversial. The internet is bad for children. There,
yeah.
I said it.
I would agree with that. Yeah, kids need to
No,
play.
it's good in some ways. It's
Yeah.
just there is a world of content, people, and also just the attention span thing. Like I have TikTok.
Hmm.
Follow my Tik. Don't follow my TikTok.
I
But
had TikTok and I've dumped it.
yeah, I feel like it's not. It numbs your brain, not numbs your brain. Like it mushes your brain up. Like
It does.
because the videos are so short
Yes.
and like such nothing content that
Yeah.
it's just a way to switch off your brain and
Yes,
just
it is.
do
Yeah.
something
It
because
turns you into a
because
grasshopper mind.
people
Just
yeah
flick,
because
flick, 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 flick. Grasshopper mind. No concentration span.
people are just tired, so that is like a recreational activity,
Yeah.
just having your brain turn off and consume just endless things that are given to you on an algorithm of
Yeah.
things you like.
Yeah.
So it's content you kind of enjoy, but like it's not giving you anything. But it's just a way to not be working all the
Yeah.
time, you know?
You know something? I got bored with it very quickly.
Yeah. The thing is, I would delete it if I didn't make TikToks because that's the bit I enjoy.
Mm.
Um, but like watching them, it's just something you fall into doing as part of a routine.
Yeah.
And it's like because like every 1 out of every 10 videos is like, oh, that was funny or educational or just something worthwhile. But
Mm.
the rest is just like nothing,
It's a
you
cult.
know? Yeah, sure, it's a
Cult.
cult. Um,
I think anyway.
also, people on there are such idiots sometimes. Like, I don't even know how to explain.
Young people today don't get the chance to form their own opinions and to form their own thoughts and their own beliefs. They have them rammed at them by TikTok, by Facebook, by all the others, Instagram, right? They are told what to do and what to see and what to become.
I developed my own beliefs.
I'm sure you did. You're more independent than most kids are.
Yeah, but I think, I don't know.
I think you're influenced a lot by uh, the beliefs that you get in universities when you get a lot of young people together and they become very biased in one direction and you are uh, carried along with it.
I don't think that's true.
Seems to make sense at the time. What
Well,
makes
I
what makes sense at 20 doesn't make sense at 30 or 40
maybe.
because you really do unless you go You see, we used to go in depth with things. We used to get into things like mysticism and esoterica. Science fiction, uh, Carlos Castaneda and people like that. We used to go in depth into things. And then we'd suddenly come up after like a year or two, you'd think, yeah, it's getting a bit samey now. I'll look for something else. And so you look for something else, and something else would pop up on the horizon, and you'd get deeply into that. And after a while, you start to reject some things and do more research on other things. The
No,
problem,
I agree.
the problem with the internet is that everything's flying in your face all the time, and it's just confusing.
That is very true. Um, I pick up and put down hobbies constantly.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of the time, well, kind of, it's because I see something online. I'm like, I want to do that, and then I do it, and then I see another thing, and I'm like, I want to do that.
Mm.
But also, that might just be who I am as a person. I like to do things a lot. I like to learn things, and then once I've got the grasp of it, I'm like,
It's certainly there
it
is
loses its
there
charm.
is one wonderful side to the internet, and that's the availability of information on
Oh
any
yeah.
at your fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
I've been
It's great.
I was talking to Keith today about can't remember about athletes about athletes, and we were talking about how
Athlete's
some
foot.
people will do anything to win, basically. And I said, there's that survey, isn't there? There's that survey, and I couldn't remember what it was called, right? And so I looked it up, and it's called the Goldman hypothesis. And the Goldman hypothesis states that what it did, it surveyed some mid and top level athletes in universities in America and said,
Mm-hmm.
if we gave you a pill which would guarantee you would win Olympic gold, but would kill you in 5 years, would you take it? Right. And a significant number of the athletes said yes.
That's crazy.
Absolutely crazy. But they were so obsessed with winning, right, that they would have, or at least they said,
Mm-hmm.
take it.
Yeah. I
And I was able to look it up and find it was called the Goldman.
yeah. I do a degree. Don't know if you knew this, but
I
I'm
don't
doing a master's degree
know.
in biology.
Oh, we're running out of time.
We are. I can find any scientific paper I want,
Yes, absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
I don't
That
have
would
to
take
go
so
search
much
through a
time.
library. I
Yeah.
can type in keywords. I can type in one word to Google Scholar and find so much information.
Mm. But the problem is that you have to judge the quality of that information, right?
I
Because
can do that.
well, yes, I hope you can.
I've been studying it for a
Yeah.
while.
But with the recent scandals about all the supposedly peer-reviewed papers that aren't that good and also have been withdrawn, uh, you really must wonder sometimes about what you're reading.
Yeah, but if you read a lot of papers, you can tell a good from
Yes.
a bad
Oh, I'm sure you
paper,
can, yeah. I'm sure you can.
especially like having like written results
Mm.
up.
Yeah.
You can tell when someone's got like dodgy results, you know.
That's it. That's what they say on these. You can, if you really look at the results closely, you can begin to see patterns. And if you begin to see patterns, it becomes a little bit suspicious. Then you check a bit deeper and find that they've been fudging the results.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Fire away.
What what advice would you give to young people
About what?
about life?
Go to the pub.
Go pub.
Go to the pub.
Done.
Go to the
Done.
pub. Go to the pub. Go to as many gigs as you can.
Done. Dusted.
Look at as many different political systems as you can.
Done. Dusted.
Get experience.
The
Experience
next
everything.
thing.
Right? Don't follow leaders. Don't follow leaders. Watch the parking meters, as Bob Dylan would say. Don't follow leaders. Don't allow yourself to be indoctrinated. Right? Just because
Oh,
somebody
that's a
tells
wild
you
card.
something, just because somebody tells you this is the way to go, it isn't. You find your own way. Right? Don't follow leaders. Watch the parking meters. There you go. Yeah. Look at all sorts of political systems. Look at all sorts of different countries. Look at all sorts of different people. I'm not a great fan of different religions. I think all religions are the same. I think it's just, my sky fairy is more powerful than your sky
I
fairy.
don't think we have the time to go into this.
No, probably not. Shall we call it for today then?
Yeah, I feel like I had another question in my head.
See if you can
If
find.
if you could go back and speak to your 21-year-old self, my age, what would you say?
I would try to give myself more confidence. I lacked when I was in my late teens and early 20s, I lacked self-confidence. I tended to, I was very shy indeed, and I lacked self-confidence. And because of that, I missed a lot of opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I was also probably a bit too picky about going to gigs and going to festivals, because what people would say to me was, "Do you want to come and see X band?" And if
Yeah,
I like them, I'd just say nah, and that was it. And I should have gone really, because you never know if you're going to like them really until
yeah.
you get there.
Also, most bands are good live, better than recorded.
Uh,
I've had so much
sometimes they are. The
I've had so much fun at gigs
Yeah,
of
the
people I've
problem is
never
though,
heard of before.
a lot of people will listen to a recording and then they'll go to a live gig and they'll want to hear that recording played live and they'll want it to sound just about the same, right?
Yeah,
A lot of people are quite the opposite. A lot of people
I'm the opposite.
want the balls out free form music. Uh, I mean, watching Frank Zappa was incredible because was such a musician, and it flowed. It was like pop jazz. It flowed. It was the same, but every performance was different. It
Hmm.
was the same song, the same words, sometimes in a different order, but every performance was different because the band changed all the time. Different people came into the band. The mothers of invention. There you
Nice.
go. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the gigs I've seen. I'll tell you what I liked a lot as well. The WOMAD Festival at Reading, World Music Festival at Reading. That was incredible. I did that 2 or 3 times as well,
Nice.
and that was well worth going to. Glastonbury, Glastonbury,
Duh.
Glastonbury is. I went to 3 Glastonburys, and it's such a changed experience. The first year I went was a real good year. The second year I went, which was a couple of years later, a few years later, it had changed completely. The people that were going there were different. They were much younger and all had posh accents and uh,
Yeah.
the whole
Gentrification.
yeah the whole ethos of the festival had changed. And the last year I went, I came to the conclusion that I really didn't want to go anymore.
Yeah. We
Didn't
could do a whole episode about festivals. I have so much to say.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you have even more to say.
All right. Well, we might do that in the future.
Sure. Next week.
Next week. Yeah,
Yeah.
I also want to carry on. I also want to carry on with the move a bit further through dowsing
We can do that.
and link dowsing to other things because I think it's a
Come
part
on.
of other things. Right? I think you can look at all these things in isolation, or you can put them all together. And when you put them all
We can
together,
have
I think
Phil's
that's a
theory of
good
the
thing.
universe.
Pardon?
We can have Phil's theory of the universe.
I don't know if I've got one. I don't know if I've got one. It's electric. Yuck, yuck.
She's electric.
Right then. Shall we call that it for this week?
Yeah,
Yeah.
considering we're
Okay.
going to be kicked out of the Zoom call in 2 minutes anyway, I think we should.
Okay. Right. Right then. I'll see you next week.
Alrighty.
Lean forward now and find out where the record button is and stop. You got it? Bye bye now.
Bye.